Hello friends, my name is Abhay Kumar and today we are going to talk about Bhagat Singh book, Why I Am an Atheist. And to discuss this book, Vivek from School of International Studies had joined. Vivek, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So Vivek, the immediate context is that Bhagat Singh was hanged. He was hanged to death on March 23rd, 1931, and that day is remembered as a Shahadat Divas. And Bhagat Singh is a revolutionary, and he holds views that is very, very important. He was definitely oriented towards Marxist understanding. So this book, Why I Am an Atheist, we are going to discuss, and what I will try to do is to give you some historical background, and then Vivek will give the summary of the book, and then I'll have some question for Vivek, and Vivek can reply. Friends, Bhagat Singh was born in a Arya Samaj family. His father was a believer, and he was definitely under the influence of his father. Later he joined DAV school, and he said in this pamphlet, Why I Am an Atheist, that he used to recite Gayatri Mantra. And he had said it very openly that his earlier life, and particularly his childhood, was very much surrounded by people who believed in religion. And later Bhagat Singh got close to revolutionary movement. He joined a revolutionary party, and he was also surprised that in that revolutionary camp people were also following religion. And he said that Ram Prasad Bismil was an Arya Samajist, and he made a reference to Rajen Lahari, whom I don't know much. He said that he studied socialism and communism a lot, but he recited Upanishads and Gita. But Bhagat Singh started reading literature, and he was under the influence of Marx, Bakunin, and also the Russian revolutionaries, particularly Trotsky and also Lenin. And through a study, he developed critical thinking. And he said that critical thinking, independent thinking, reason, these are very, very important. And from a person born in a, let's say, in a family which was very much orthodox, which was believing in religion, he moved on to become atheist, and he said that now I do not believe in religion. And his arguments about the religion, his denial of religion, is that religion is, in fact, the origin of religion is, according to Bhagat Singh, is something that was used by people to grapple with the difficult situations. For example, when I do not understand this world, when I am surrounded by the crisis, at that time religion gives me power to struggle and to deal with that situations. But then Bhagat Singh says, but later that religion was used by, let's say, what should I say, the ruling classes to maintain, to establish and perpetuate their rule. And that is why he has said very clearly that all religions say that if you rebel against the king and the ruler, it is a sin. So I have just given you brief introduction to the book Why I Am an Atheist, written by Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh. So now Vivek, you are free. How do you react? What is your comment? What is your reading of Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh book, Why I Am an Atheist?
Thank you for inviting me for this talk on this book. I feel, first of all, let me give you a brief about this book also, which I think you concluded it very well. But this was the last book of Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh. And in this last book, you can completely feel a man who is trying to question and reason everything, whatever he can. And the idea that you have to reason and you have to question all the status quo of the society is very important. His political journey from Jallianwala Bagh incident when he was 12-year-old to till death when he was 23 year was just 11 years. A man of political understanding of 11-year-old questioning beliefs, customs and rituals which were used by, as you said, were used by kings or those who want to maintain that
the
powerful people to maintain their hegemony, to maintain their structure. It was a very important question to raise. And as you said, that no one was, there were freedom fighter, which makes Bhagat Singh very important. There were freedom fighter who sacrificed their life. There were freedom fighter who were fighting the movement. But Bhagat Singh was the only one who was raising question within the country also, that what kind of country we want to create.
Okay, so friends, I want to just repeat it again. He said that Ram Prasad Bismil was a believer in Arya Samaj ideology, and then Rajen Lahari, who was a socialist and communist who knew a lot, but he recited Upanishads and Gita. The revolutionary party and leaders, they were also believers. This is Bhagat Singh's words. And he said that the famous Kakori martyrs, all of them passed their last day in prayers. And up to that point, Bhagat Singh said that I was romantic revolutionary, but then his journey from a romantic revolutionary for one who believed so much in the success of, let's say, violent method, he is now shifting and he is talking about that study is very important, region is very important, and questioning religion is important, because in the name of religion, I think the unjust order is maintained. So I want to ask you a very small questions, that why Bhagat Singh thought like this? Why not other revolutionaries who were also reading, let's say, critical literature? They didn't reach that point where Bhagat Singh reached.
See, from the beginning, as you told, that he was Arya Samajist, and from the beginning he was in influence of religion, Sikhism. His uncle was Arya Samajist, his father was Arya Samajist, but they were staunch freedom fighters also. From the beginning itself, there was one question which Bhagat Singh was always facing, was that he was very much, he was living in vanity. People around him always say that you are a disbeliever in God because you think that you have created an aura by throwing the bomb and by killing Saunders or whatever. He wanted to say, I am like this, I am non-believer to God because it is my practice which has made me this. There is a very famous quotation in this book that Britishers rule in this country is not because our God wants us, but
they have police and power.
They have police, power, guns. Yes. So this argument of Bhagat Singh says a lot about him, why he was atheist and why he converted later on in his phase. He was trying to say that I was not a religious person. Our institution, which was in front of me, my uncle, my school, where DAV he says that I used to recite the verses of Saraswati, whatever, that Gayatri Mantra. So the institution around him was very influenced in religion, because those all institutions were created by the powerful people. Let's say those who want to rule. There were Christian missionary school. There was a school which were completely dedicated to religious readings and practices. So he is saying that I was part of that system, and the moment I started reasoning these things, I felt that these things are not good for my understanding of reason and scientific temperament.
So friends, I want to also connect what Vivek is saying. For Bhagat Singh, he starts this pamphlet, Why I Am Not an Atheist, by saying that when I do not believe in religion, people think that it is a very much fashion statement, let's say, that you are creating aura. As you have summarized, that you are egoist and you think that you are very different from the other people. But he said no. When it was a difficult time, when he was arrested, he feared his life. Even at that time, he did not do prayers. That shows that his faith in religion was very much firm. So he didn't believe in religion, not for any fashion statement. He rejected religion out of his study, out of his own independent thinking. another important thing, Vivek, is that at the time when Bhagat Singh is becoming more and more atheist and he is critiquing religion, it is also the time when he is studying a lot and he gives the reference of Marx, Bakunin, Lenin, Trotsky and others, and he is saying that non-violence mass movements should be taken up when violence is needed. That is okay, but in other situations, non-violence mass movements are very much useful. So how do you see that connections, that non-violence, his underlying reason, and also critical thinking, and also becoming atheist?
Two things I want to state here. That first of all, as you mentioned, that Bhagat Singh was saying to all the religions that if let's suppose there is one Hindu, he can think of some heavenly or some next birth prize for sacrificing this life in this this life. For Muslim, you have some heavenly prizes you will receive after dying. For Christians also. But I want to, and Bhagat Singh is giving a very huge political message by saying this, that I want to create a message, I want to deliver a message from my life that without any idea of becoming a hero, without expecting from this revolution to become a successful, I want to give all my life to this revolution, the revolution he started, without expecting anything. It was on that political debate was never has happened, because everyone was thinking I am doing this because I want my country to be free, where Bhagat Singh clearly states I am doing this because the imperial power are ruling and they have to leave this country. Whatever oppression they are creating, the caste hierarchy he is also criticizing, whatever is going on.
Also Brahmanism.
Also Brahmanism.
Yes.
So whatever he is criticizing, he is saying that I am criticizing because it is wrong. It does not mean that I don't want my country to be free, but I am criticizing on this point because it is wrong, and I do not expect anything from my sacrifice of this life. I am an atheist. I want all the wrongdoings of the imperial powers, the casteist, the Brahmanical order to just get away, and the rule of people, the laborers, the working class has to be established.
Okay. So in Bhagat Singh's this small pamphlet, the issue of critical and independent thinking is also a stress, and we on the side of the left, we praise ourselves by saying that, oh, we are debating, we are discussing, and look at right wingers, they do not debate, they do not discuss, there is authoritarianism. The criticism of right wing is absolutely correct, that the one leader in our country today is dictating everything. All institutions are dying. But now we should also do some self-introspection. Those people who call themselves somehow progressive and leftist, and those who are associated with the parties, we find that the party, within that institutions, we also, that party, that institution do not follow that independent and critical thinking. And Bhagat Singh is saying that follow independent thinking, critical thinking, don't follow any Mahatma Ji. So the figure of Mahatma Ji is today in the left circle, it has transformed into something called very popular leader. He has a big following. That leader has got huge social media attention. Why there is lack of debate and discussion, independent thinking among left circle also? Do you think this as one of the reason that no creative thinking is happening? We are just repeating things which we said some 10 years back, 20 years back, 30 years back, 50 years back. Is it the case, or will you differ with me?
नहीं, इस बात में मैं आपसे एक जगह तो सहमति रखने की कोशिश करूंगा कि जिस तरह की इंटेलेक्चुअल हायरार्की बनाने की कोशिश आज लेफ्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कर रहा है, जिसमें एक व्यक्ति है जो डिफरेंट पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियोज को समझाएगा और उसके बाद बताएगा कि ये हमारा राइटफुल थिंकिंग है, और उसके बाद उस पूरी पार्टी को, या लेफ्ट पार्टी जिसका आपने नाम लिया, वो पूरी पार्टी को एक तरफ मोड़ देगा। वो एक देखने को
एक फिगर के सेंटर में,
एक फिगर के सेंटर में, और उसको डेमोक्रेटिक सेंट्रलिज्म के नाम पे जस्टिफाई करने की भी कोशिश की जाएगी, जो लेनिन का एक पूरा आर्गुमेंट था कि जो भी आर्गुमेंट्स आ रहे हैं वो पार्टी के सेंट्रल कमांड से लिया जा रहा है और उसकी तरफ एक तरफ मुड़ा। भगत सिंह के साथ ऐसा एक डिलेमा बहुत बार आता है कि भगत सिंह अपने समय में बहुत रिवोल्यूशनरी फिगर थे और बहुत चहेते थे। गौहर राजा ने 2007 में एक सर्वे किया था कि भारत के फ्रीडम फाइटर्स में सबसे फेमस लोग कौन थे। 35,000 युवाओं में, और आज की डेट में मैं बता रहा हूँ, 35,000 युवाओं में महात्मा गांधी और भगत सिंह अनबीटेबल थे। लोगों ने इनको दिल से चाहा, और आज जब भगत सिंह के ऊपर तो नहीं, महात्मा गांधी के ऊपर तरह तरह के उलाहने दिए जाते हैं, लेकिन आज हम भगत सिंह पे अगर बात करें तो तीनों उपमहाद्वीपों में, चाहे वो पाकिस्तान हो, चाहे वो भारत हो, चाहे बांग्लादेश हो, एक ऐसा लीडर है जिसके लिए किसी ने एक गलत शब्द नहीं कहा।
नहीं, वो तो ठीक है। नहीं, मैं ये सवाल ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि ये हम रीट्वीट करते हैं अपने बड़े नेताओं का।
नहीं, मैं इसी सवाल का जवाब देते हुए कहना चाह रहा था, इसी सवाल देते हुए भगत सिंह को भी कई बार इसी तरह का कि भगत सिंह पे भी ऐसा सवाल उठा कि आप डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश करते हो, जो आप बोल देते हैं। भगत सिंह अपने साथियों से बात करते हैं, जब वो बिस्मिल से बात करते हैं तो कहते हैं कि नहीं, आप अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रखिए, क्योंकि मुझे वो जानना जरूरी है। लोग मुझे बाहर से ट्रीट करते हैं कि मैं सारे आंदोलन से मैं सारी पॉलिसीज लेता हूं, लेकिन मैं चाहता हूं कि जो हमारी कमेटी है वो बात करे, बहस करे, रैशनल थिंकिंग, साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट की जो बात करते हैं वो आपस में बहस से निकल के आए, और कोई यहाँ पे एक सेंट्रली फिगर न बने जो डोमिनेट करे आइडियाज को, जो रिवोल्यूशनरी मूवमेंट को डोमिनेट करे। तो भगत सिंह इस बात को हमेशा खारिज करते हुए चलते हैं शुरू से अपने आंदोलनों में।
अच्छा, ओके विवेक, आई थिंक भगत सिंह and Ambedkar, how far they had dialogues, I don't know. It is a subject of further research. But I find in my reading that Bhagat Singh and Ambedkar, they converge at one point. Both were very much critical of caste society.
The Brahmanical order.
The Brahmanical order. I think we will do another discussion. He wrote very important parcha also, Bhagat Singh, on the caste system, untouchability. And he said that in temple animals can go. He even made reference to dogs, if I am correct.
Yes.
He said that dogs are allowed. If they enter the temple is not polluted, but the entry of lower caste is considered more polluting than the entry of, let's say, the animals. So Bhagat Singh is also, and here Ambedkar, I think they come together here by critiquing the Brahmanical social order. He is saying that ancient faith is not to be taken blindly. He is saying also that his idea of atheism is also linked with it.
Yes.
That ancient faith should not be taken at its face value. Since my father followed something, that is why I am a loyal son, so I should follow because I am indebted to him. That should not be the case. And even Ambedkar's, I think, famous speech, Gandhi, Ranade and Jinnah, where he is saying that why he preferred Ranade to, let's say, Gandhi and Jinnah, because Ranade critiqued social hierarchy. And he said that critiquing social hierarchy is more important. So Bhagat Singh was also saying that critique faith. If the faith is not sound, we have to critique it. Tell me today, how many intellectuals today are saying that caste system is bad, caste system is inhuman, it should be critiqued? People are glorifying it.
Yes.
So where we have reached, and even among the left parties also, a section of the left parties also, even the debate about the caste is also not very prominent there, and that is also the criticism of, let's say, Dalit Bahujan Party. So why not the followers of, let's say, the so-called followers of the Bhagat Singh have not taken up the task of critiquing the ancient faith, which is not sound?
First of all, I will definitely agree with your point that Bhagat Singh was in total rejection of caste system, the Brahmanical order. Ambedkar was also, and at that time, Bhagat Singh was writing, Bhagat Singh was reading, he has read 300 books, and in every book, whatever he has gained, he has documented in his diaries. And in each of the diaries, he, through sairis, through quotes, he is critiquing all the orders, all the previous order, which are problematic for society. Whether it is a caste hierarchy, whether it is a discrimination for the lower caste, the untouchables, as you very well mentioned that dogs are allowed to enter in the temples, but certain section of the society,
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Okay, we can wash the temple and it can be cleaned.
Yes. So Bhagat Singh was very clear on what he has to say, and whatever the ideological position or the political position he was taking, he was very clear. He do not need to appropriate anyone. The beauty of Bhagat Singh is that everyone tried to appropriate Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh never tried to appropriate any section of society. Many of the people who were that time political movement, were in political movement, were giving new facets to Hinduism. There were people who were appropriating the caste system, the Varna system by saying it. But Bhagat Singh and Ambedkar completely critiqued it. And there is one moment in this book where Bhagat Singh was writing that the idea of India or idea of any country cannot be written on the religious lines. He is critiquing that Har Har Mahadev and Allahu Akbar will not be the foundation lines of the foundation line of our country will be right to equality, right to food, right to education. So the very idea what Bhagat Singh is giving is very much similar to Ambedkar. And then when you talk about the current left leader, they are also appropriating some kind of giving tactics to their masses, the so-called masses, and saying that, see, this time is very crucial in the political juncture of country, and you have to take this line as a political line, and they are disguising their masses. Bhagat Singh was always against it. Bhagat Singh questioned Sati Pratha. Bhagat Singh questioned Brahminical order, communalism also.
Yes.
And at that time, if you remember, Savarkar was there, Munje was there, and here Mahatma Gandhi were two of the main political figures of that time. But what he chose? The progressive ideas, the idea which has power to change the society structurally.
Okay, so I think you should also give some comment on his criticism of the Brahminical social order, and he is saying that how knowledge has been monopolized by the Brahmins, and he is using two words, I think, haughty and egoist.
Yes.
I think those who have pride in themselves, those who are egoists. So the Brahmins have pride, they are proud of their knowledge, but they are not disseminating, they are not making knowledge, I think, democratic. They are not democratizing knowledge. So if you want to say something on this point.
Yes, sir. Bhagat Singh was trying to make a point that the complete system is ruling in a way that they have monopolized the knowledge also, because knowledge was in the caste hierarchy. Knowledge was restricted to only one strata of the society, and after taking a knowledge, they are not disseminating it. They are not democratically distributing it. So if the untouchable, the so-called untouchable according to them, want to study, he cannot, because the monopoly of knowledge is with upper caste. And he is writing against it also, that our situation is so bad that the person, if he want to liberate himself with the ideas, with new thinking, and he want to change the society structurally, he does not have a capacity, because the idea is also monopolized. The idea is also restricted to only one class. And if someone dares to take that knowledge, and someone dares to question the authority, he might be killed, he might be questioned every time, whenever he tries to take a question.
So far we could say that Bhagat Singh's idea of atheism is not standing in isolation. It is very much linked with critical thinking, independent thinking, questioning the ancient faith, and also questioning caste and class exploitations. And he is very much critical of, let's say, the Brahminical social order. Not many people at his time, in 1920s, would like to speak that language, because they might feel that they might be alienated by the majority people who might be influenced by the Brahminical ideas. So now, moving on to the idea of Bhagat Singh's God, I think. How did Bhagat Singh thought about the origin of God? And here Bhagat Singh's position is bit different from the other revolutionary. See, generally, a group of Marxists or left-oriented scholars believe that religion is a tool in the hands of, let's say, the ruling classes to suppress them, to maintain that unjust system, and also to divert their attentions from the real issues. This is very general and very simple understanding, that it gives you the perverted picture of the world. But Bhagat Singh is saying something different. He is, I think, if I am correct, that he is talking about some kind of a functional a theory of religion where Bhagat Singh is saying that look, religion first emerged as an image in the imagination of the people. It was imaginary creation, you could say that the way let's say a scholar has said the imagine community.
Imagine.
In the same way, religion was imagined, and it was imagined by the people, like ghosts, like the spirits, the bad spirits, to tackle the difficult situations. And then different figure of the God was conceived. God who is punishing people, who is furious, who has got very terrible fury, who has got laws. Those things were used to control the behavior of the people. People should not go against the order. But at the same time, the image of the God is also created as a father, as a son, as a friend, to console the people who are in a difficult situation. To put it very simply, he is basically saying that God, the idea of God like host and let's say the evil spirits came. They were not real, and they came because it has a purpose. The two purposes were there: to control the behavior of the people, and also people needed it to grapple with the difficult situation. And then he said that later religion was used for the ruling classes, for the ruling caste, to suppress people, to maintain their order, to maintain their unjust system. And that is why he has said at one point of time that no religion says that you should
rebel against
the ruler. So religion is basically supporting the king. So I am asking, how do you look at Bhagat Singh's idea of origin of God? Do you find it convincing? If you want to add something.
No, it is completely convincing when Bhagat Singh says that God and ghost are your imagination, and he take a very strict line that I do not want to comment on your mythologies. Okay. He says it clearly, mythologies, and give a pressure on this point that I do not want to comment on, because